Good morning, everyone. This is your first and official welcome to the Fellowship City - Gauteng Alliance marriage course for 2022. We want you to feel loved, we want you to feel welcome, we want your bellies to be filled, and we want your kids to be entertained while we do some weightier work together as married folk. Why are we here? The answer is actually really simple. We, being Fellowship City as a church, we felt that we wanted to do something to invest into the marriages of our people. We have a lot of married folk, and we also have a lot of married folk who are either stuck or struggling. And because marriage is so important to us, to the way we witness the gospel, and to God Himself, He's the one who instituted it, we decided to do a marriage course this year. And then your loving leaders at the Gauteng Alliance had exactly the same prompting, also feeling that they want to equip church planters and church leaders in terms of their marriage. And then what happened was Peter Wessels, a well-known guy in both Fellowship City and Gauteng Alliance, gave me a call one day and he was like, "Dude, we want to roll out a marriage course on the 28th of May. Can we please use Fellowship City's building?" And I said, "Peter, you cannot, because we have our own marriage course on the 28th of May. Peter took one breath and said, "Then this is God's divine providence. We shall merge the two." And I said, "Yes, please." And here we are today. So if you are here under the banner or the umbrella of the Gauteng Alliance, welcome to Fellowship City. If you are from Fellowship City, welcome, guys. It's really, really good and encouraging for me to see all the faces. Guys, this is Elmarie. I'm going to allow her to introduce herself after I've prayed for her. Elmarie and I met somewhere between 2007 and 2010 when she was working at Die Hoërskool Centurion and I was a youth worker at Pierre van Ryneveld Geloofsfamilie. Then we became colleagues in 2011. And then Marie and I decided to get married and we went to Elmarie for marriage prep. Now usually she does 4 sessions with a couple. Marie and I did 8. Not because she thought we were struggling, just because it was so awesome. Like every time we left a session with her, we were like, minds blown, oh my word. And then we started doing what Elmarie taught us to do. And I can promise you guys that Marie and I have a perfect marriage, okay? Joking. But we did do what Elmarie told us to do, and we've been married for 10 years, and we are here again today for a service to journey with you guys. Elmarie and I then became friends. So colleagues first and then friends, collegial friends. And then we became really good friends, friendly colleagues. And now we're just family because we've been together for 10 years now, Elmarie. It's quite a significant portion of time. I have had the privilege of marrying 230 couples in my time as pastor, and she has done most of the prep of all those couples. And I've only ever had in 230 couples, one couple that said, "Yeah, no, we didn't enjoy the prep. We thought it could have been better." And I was like, okay, statistically, you guys are an outlier because everyone else thinks that it's awesome. So Elmarie, thank you for journeying with us. You'll get to know them. They'll get to know you. I'm going to hand over the mic to Elmarie. She's done many reps of this, so you can do with us whatever you feel like you need to do this morning. Let me pray for us, for her, for the whole morning, for the kids, and for the food, and then we'll get going. Father God, thank you so much for a brand new day. Thank you that your mercies are new this morning. Thank you that you brought all of us to this place. Thank you that we can be together. Thank you that we can learn together. Thank you that we can be strengthened and edified in our marriages. Thank you that we have a space that is safe, where we can share all of these things and where we can learn more and more about you and learn more and more how to be witnesses to your gospel through our marriages. I pray for Elmarie this morning for wisdom. I pray for clarity of speech. I pray for all of us just for a posture of openness and humility as we take on this 7-session journey together. May your name be glorified, Father God. May we see you and the love you have for us even better, Lord Jesus. I pray that in your name. Amen. Elmarie, thank you. Guys, listen, it's universal. Let's give her a round of applause.
Okay, so am I on the air now? And you can all hear me? Yeah. Thanks, Rhino. It is not me doing the work. If you've listened to what Rhino said, he and Marie did what they learned to do. And that is why they can be where they are. So we can all sit here today and we can read all those books and we can hear a lot of stuff and not do the work, and we will still be where we are. So when we talk about marriage preparation or marriage counseling or a marriage course like this, the only worth in it is for me and you to do what we hear we need to do. And some of the stuff that I'm going to talk about today is not your story. It might be the two persons sitting next to your story. You will know what your story are. Okay, so a little bit about me. I'm very old. If I know Reino now for 10 or 11 years. I said to Marie, I don't know who of you watched the tennis. Nadal won a game yesterday, and they asked him, so how does it feel to win 300 games? He said, I'm very old. So I'm Elmarie, and I'm doing what Reino said. I also raised 2 boys, for which I am very thankful. They are grown-ups now. The one is married. I'm a grandmama, so I know about little ones. I've been married for about 28, 30 years, 28, 29 years, and then I divorced. So you can ask, so how can somebody who went through a divorce do this work? Because she went through a divorce. Sometimes you lose something to realize that you need to take care of it. Or sometimes you nearly lose something and realize, hopefully, that you need to take care of what you have. And that took me through Imago courses of marriage counseling. It took me through a lot of growth in me. It took me through spiritual growth, and that's why I'm here. It's calling. I can't not do it. Okay, it's not all that I do. I also do counseling for just being stuck or grief counseling, whatever. But my main focus is this, relationships. Okay? My first language is Afrikaans, just a disclaimer. So, everything that's happening here is translated. So if there's English teachers around here or language purists, please forgive me. My second language is humans. So I think that is a language that we all understand. Okay, so if I struggle, I'm going to ask you guys what's the word that I'm looking for. If anyone needs to stop me at any time and ask a question, please feel free to do that. Just to start us off, I want you to, in the tables where you're sitting, just quickly have a short discussion, and Marie and Reino tell you guys know one another very well, so they speak Kroek. But yeah, so just find out something about the other couple's marriage. 1 or 2 things. Okay, but now it works like this. If he is speaking, all the other people is looking him in the eyes. And somebody else is I'm not going to ask us to give feedback in the big group, we don't have time for that. But in the end, you are going to say what you've heard from him. You are going to say what you heard from them. Okay, so it's a little exercise in listening to remember. And we need the eye contact. So if anybody in the group isn't looking the guy that's talking in the eyes, stop at the table and say, what? Okay, go. All right, thank you guys. Who hasn't heard the word mindfulness yet? Mindfulness. You're going to hear it in the 7 sessions coming. We're gonna use the word. I'm gonna use the word mindfulness often. I'm gonna use the words in the here and now often. I'm gonna use the words look one another in the eye while you're talking often. So that's why we do this morning. We start to exercise small little things without knowing it. So just to get in the here and the now. We leave the children outside, we leave all the organizational things, the people that were busy here. I want you to just sit in your chair, close your eyes, take a deep breath in, let it go, another one in, and breathe out a little bit longer. And just quickly scan your body for tension. And let it go. You can start at your feet. Just feel them, relax them. Your calves, your knees, your bum, your back, your shoulders, let them down. And get your tongue loose from either the top of your mouth or the bottom. And see how that relaxes your face muscles. And then I want you to take your hands, palms open, and touch your hands against your partner's palms. Palms open. Touch your palms, your partner's palms, like this. We're not holding hands, we're pressing our palms against one another. And I want you guys to give it a little bit of pressure. Press. Feel what you are feeling. Release that pressure for a little bit, but still stay in contact with your partner's palms. And now release. Don't touch, but don't take your hands away. Feel the warmth between the palms. And now I want you to open your eyes and look your partner in the eye. And keep looking. And sit with the whatever the feeling is. Uncomfortable, funny, weird. Just look. And without saying a word, make a commitment of sorts about what you're going to do with the 7 next sessions. And then take a deep breath in again. And let go everything. The hands can come down now. Okay. So, the first session, we're going to do a little trip through the Bible about marriage. What does the Bible say about marriage? Where does it come from? Where is the first marriage? Do we even know? All right? So where do we start if we talk about relationship? do you think in the Bible? Just a hand, you can shout it out. Where in the Bible do we start with relationship? Adam and Eve? Yes? In the book of Genesis, what happens there? God creates, let me just put in a little disclaimer. I became an old woman before I realized that the Bible is also a romance. Or do you say a romance? You get fiction and non-fiction. What do you call that? Ne? Yeah, it's a love story. Perhaps it's the biggest love story of all times. For me, not perhaps, for me, it is. It starts with the book of Genesis. What happens there? And I'm not testing you in terms of do you know your Bible or the verses. I'm not going to ask verses. I can't even give them all. God created, am I right? Everything. Light, darkness, water, land. And every time he stood back and he said it was good. And then one day God said, let us create in our image. And he created Adam. And then what did he say? Very good. I'm sorry, sir. He didn't say that. He said it's not good. Why? Why do you think? Listen, let us create to our image. And there's Adam. And we do make a lot of jokes, about Adam and Eve, which is fine. We can. But it's not good. What was wrong? Adam was one. Adam wasn't in a relationship. What are you guys telling me? Who is God?
Many.
Three. So before creation, there was what? And where there is three, what is there? Relationship. So what did God do? He put Adam to sleep. Did he wake him? Ever?
Yes, eventually.
First, he paraded all the creatures that he already created for Adam to choose. What's happening there? There's choice. There's free will. Thank you. And then there was no partner because why? None of those creatures could be in relationship. None of them made choice. Instinctively, but not like we do. And there's Eve. And now, Adam and Eve together are the image of God. Does it make sense? And then what did God tell them? It is very good. He gave them instructions. Now he said, help one another. Go and work. Interestingly enough, God never gave ownership away of the earth and creation. We just sometimes think he did. We think it is ours. Okay? So there the story starts. And another, just a subtext, is there was order. Every evening, Adam and Eve walked through the Garden of Eden, and they met God, and there was peace. There was order. And then, blame it on Eve.
Adam was there aside. He should have taken care of it.
Thank you. He also had choice, He had a choice. But what happened? The order changed. There was a moment of chaos. And then out of the chaos grew a new order. I don't want to stand still there. Out of Adam and Eve, first relationship, something else started. The church, God's people, were born. And if we talk about metaphor, God's bride arrived. First it was Adam and Eve, then it became the Israelites. God's bride arrived. And all through the Old Testament, what do we see? What is the story about this bridegroom, God, and the bride?
He saved her to begin with. Took her on a journey.
He took her on a journey. Wow, what a journey.
Slaughtered some cities for her.
He slaughtered some cities for her. It's beautiful, guys. Remember, this is a romance. He slaughtered cities for her. Ek is sommer hoendervleis. What do you call that? Goosebumps. What else? She acted like a harlot. Thanks, Josie. Every time, as soon as there was order, she acted like a harlot. And there was disorder. And something new came. He gave her a tent in the woestijn, desert. Later on, he built her a temple. And he built her, and he carried on. That is the story of the Old Testament. Within that broader story, there's small little stories of brides, even though they were often men, who really tried to love God. Can you think of anyone? David, Moses. Those stories, yes, those are the little stories for us to see, there was always hope. And there are people in whose footsteps we can follow. But keep the big love story in mind. And I think it's the book, what prophet was it that got he had to marry a harlot? Yeah, there's the whole story in one Bible book. And you see how she's being sold as a slave, and he buys her back. Can you already feel your own marriage? Not as a groom or a bride, but as the order, and then there's no order, and there's chaos, and then there's order again. Every time when there is a new order, there was grace, there was forgiveness, there was communication, sometimes very angry words. You remember that God said to Moses, I'll kill you if I go with you. Very angry. And Moses, a little bit cheeky, hey, well, then we don't go. It sounds a bit like my marriage sometimes, you know. It happens. It happens. And see how God engaged with this bride. And then 300 or 400 years lapse, and then what happens in the New Testament? This groom realizes that if there is anything that the bride needs to do to stay in this marriage, to be safe, it's not going to work. And what does he do? He comes down, and in Jesus he shows us how does love look. None of us sitting here can say we don't know. We might not have experienced it in the fullest, or we might not be able to give it in the fullest, but we cannot say that we don't know. We got the example. We got the books in the New Testament. We've got 1 Corinthians 13. And I can carry on. He also came to show us how it looks to serve. You cannot distinguish between serving and love. You can, but love should flow over in being a servant. So he came to show us in our marriages how it looks to serve. If you are the husband or the wife, there's an example of being a servant, being graceful, being having forgiveness. And he comes in the Ephesians, I think it's 5 text, and the heading is husband and wife. In some Bibles, it is the marriage. And there is that verse that we love so much. Woman, you should, what is the word? Submit to your husbands. And then we see how the husbands, Yeah. What happens after that? What does he tell the husbands? You should love her as Christ loved you. Lay your life down for her. Now, I always am a bit naughty. I say, nowhere in the Bible God gave us the woman, the command to love our husbands. But he gave it to you, men. And it's a tall order. And who will not follow somebody who loves her as Christ loved the church with closed eyes? Easy. But what we miss, and you can go and check it, I didn't bring my Bible, right under the heading of husband and wife, there's a little sentence which goes in the line of, out of respect for Christ, serve one another. And that means that everything that comes after that little sentence is a vice versa text. So, might there be situations where Reino needs to submit to Marie? And the other way around? Might there be situations where Marie should lay her life down for Reino? There it is. Marriage was never meant to be a power relationship. It's a relationship of servanthood and love and grace. Now, sometimes love means that I tell my husband the truth, which is not very nice to hear, but we're going to learn to do that. And the other way around. And then this love story carries on. I'm fast forwarding now to the last book, and it ends with what? A marriage. The bride waiting in her white clothes for the groom to come. Isn't it beautiful? It's done. It's done. And that is the backdrop of everything we're going to do in the next 7 sessions. A quick, what do you call it, a popcorn reflection. Anybody who wants to say something, ask something, add something, take something away. So just a quick check-in between you and your partner. Just very quickly. What are you realizing now? What did you know and forgot about marriage? 2 sentences. I'm not going to give you a lot of time. Just tell your husband and your wife, whew, I realized this. All right, thank you very much. So what we're going to do now, I've got a very smart circle with very smart handwriting here. This circle is, in very short, the process of relationship. So if we talked about theology now, and I don't want to use that word because I'm not there, this is the science of relationship. And it's beautiful to see how they fit like this. It's not the Bible on the one hand and science on the other hand. Everything that's here, the more I grow and the more I read, the more I see, it's been written. It's been written. I just didn't hear it necessarily because I wasn't ready to hear it, or it wasn't explained, or whatever. But it's written. Okay? So, where does relationship start? Interestingly enough, it starts while you were still in your mother's womb. Okay, so what happens there? It's a little bit abstract, so just stay with me. When God created us, what does Psalm 139 say? Beautifully made. So, and I know some people does not see it that way. My belief system is, I am created good. Potentially, there was nothing wrong. The little baby Elmarie received everything she needed to become the woman or the Elmarie God intended me to be. You with me? Okay. The problem started the day I was born. Okay? What's funny? Because I came in a broken world. I do not have perfect parents, perfect teachers, definitely not perfect siblings. Eh? And it's not here now, we're going to do that in the last session. But a child under the age of 7 goes through, let me just quickly show you, 4 very important development stages where we need specific witnessing from our parents or the primary caregivers. Now, if you come into the world like a potentially round ball, what happens here is we don't get everything we need necessarily. Not because we have bad parents. You're raising 2 kids, some of you as well. There's just not always time to see this one while the other one needs attention. Am I right? And we send our children off to school. And there's a lot of stuff happening. So, children under the age of 7, very important. I'm going to quickly go through this now, but I'll come back to it later on. Does not have a working neocortex. The neocortex is the one where we think and make choices. To the image of God, we can choose. Okay, so, child under your little children running around here, under the age of 7 or 5, only has what we call the old brain, the brain stem sitting here, and the mammal brain. 2 parts of the brain which does what? Do what? The one helps us to stay safe. We can fight or flee or freeze. And the other one is we can have empathy. So what we did growing up, a child chooses love above life. What does that mean? The little boy and the little girl scan the parents and see when do they love me more? So I'll do more of that. When am I good? I'll do more of that. When am I in trouble? I'll do less of that. But some children will do more of that because they get the attention. You see where we're going at? This round ball comes in, and now the child starts hiding some of his or her aliveness because it's not loved. It's not the truth. But that is what that little boy or girl, felt. And because you did not have a rational brain and you did not have language to say to daddy, but you are so busy and you never hear and I miss out on your attention, and you didn't have that. So what did you do? You either went quietly and played in your room, or you bothered your mom, or you nagged your dad. And that round little ball now becomes like if you press a softball, it does this. And we lose some of our aliveness. Are you with me? And subconsciously, now this is work that John Gottman does, a lot of research. We build a picture of how is the woman or the man that I'm going to marry look to make me whole again, to make the ball round again. And then we scan, they say thousands of people as we grow up. We scan a lot of potential partners, and one day we fall in love. Nee? Ja, lekker lag jy. He still remembers it. Some people are already so tired, we never were in love. Okay. This is the first phase. All right. Now, what happens when we fall in love? Interestingly enough. Yes. Yeah, romantic love. But remember now what I said? Actually, there's a little thing that can come in your childhood. First phase, childhood. Okay. Romantic love. When we fall in love, some of you might remember, everything goes up. It's exciting, it's fun, we work hard. Who remembers that? You look like this. Yeah. And you know what the other one likes, and you can talk about the other one's interests. And the girls make up and they wash their hair and they get home in the evening. I'm so tired now, but I'll do all that again tomorrow. And you can't stop it. What actually happens in your body is your body gives you all the feel-good hormones in overdrive. The serotonins, the dopamines, the oxytocins. Ask me, I fell in love at the age of 50. Again. You know how silly is an old woman being in love? And I know all this. And I think, yes, you're stupid. Stop it. What you do have later on is the knowledge that this is not going to hold. So I can just as well start doing the work. All right? Okay? And Josie asked me, well, are we over the in-love period? And I said to her, yes, it's quieter. But there are moments when I look at my husband, his name is Gunnar, and I think, wow, butterflies. Okay? So this is what happens here. And the trouble with the romantic love is we do not see straight. We do not see straight. You look at the other one and you think, he's a bit untidy when he drinks his coffee, it's going. But actually, that's funny and cute and so sexy. Huh? You remember that? Remember that? Okay? The introvert falls in love. The introvert falls in love with the extrovert, and the introvert say, it's so nice. I'm actually quiet. I don't go to parties, but when I'm with the extrovert, I can also mingle and make friends. The extrovert says of the introvert, it's so nice and quiet there, we don't have to say a word. Okay? I'm going to fast forward a bit. 2 days to 2 years, 48 hours to 2 years. And these feel good hormones drop to normal. Ha! And what happens? Now we fight. And that slurping of the coffee is not so funny anymore. And be honest. Be honest. The same things that were so attractive, so sexy, so cute starts irritating the bejeez out of you. And that thing that you thought, if we married, it will change. It's not changing. And suddenly you wonder, and I get it in my practice. Tannie, 6 months later, Tannie, it's not nice anymore. We want to divorce. It was never meant to be just nice. So it might sound cynical what I say to you now, but I think God lures us into marriage through romantic love so that we can start doing the growth work. Because where your wife irritates you, you need to grow. Not she needs to change. Ha! Yo. And the other way around. What I'm saying is that, and we're going to do that when we do the sessions with the husbands and the wives separately, where I feel an intense reaction, my mature work is not, you need to change. My mature work is, why is this my story? Okay? Reino is watching the clock. So, now we're in a power struggle. Now we fight. And who fights about wet towels lying on the floor? Ha! And who's fighting about up toilet seats and down toilet seats? Yes. And who's fighting about... You know, in our house, the thing that irritates the most out of me is these little toothpicks that I pick up everywhere. Okay? Okay. Power struggle means that it's not nice, I don't like this. My old brain is telling me you need to fight, or you need to flee, or you just need to make, if it's not there, it will go over in 3 days' time, and then we just carry on. Okay? And we do all of them. We fight, we make up again, or we just flee. One fights and the other one runs out of the house, and we make up, or we just ignore it. 3 weeks later, we're there again. Power struggle. Some people can live like this for 30-odd years. Okay? That means we are just surviving. And you are young people, a lot of you with children, we survive through the children. We get so busy with our work and our kids that we don't have to take care about the relationship. All right? And then we do have choice. We can exit the relationship, and that is what our old brains tells us. And interestingly enough, God gave us the old brain to keep us safe. The old brain fires 89 thousandths of a second. So it's alive all the time. You hear the kids, you see this, you wonder what's happening there. Reino, I'm going to Okay? It's immediate. The new cortex takes about 20 minutes to get started and be rational. Okay? So what do we do? When we exit, listen. Sometimes very subtle, we just work harder and stay out longer. Because who can say it's wrong to work hard? Nobody. We take on an extra assignment. We do another, if you're a pastor, you just do another visit. I'm not saying all pastors or all people working hard is busy with exits. Or we exit in the kids. We're very good parents. Because who can say it's wrong to be a good parent? Some people exit into the church. They're the ones putting up their hands. I'll do that, I'll do that, I'll do that. So if you are people taking care of people in the church, watch out for that people who is always prepared to work. Send them home and get somebody else. Exits are subtle, but they're there. Okay, these are the subtle ones. Other people run the comrades, or take on a new hobby. So an exit, valid exits, are where we go, where it's safe and quick and easy. Because why? We all need to feel good. More dangerous exits? Yes.
Sorry, I have to ask, isn't it also a good thing to have a little, like your own time?
Yes. Yes. But when you get there, that will be here. Yes, you are quite right. If we marry, Genesis says we become one. I'm not so happy with that translation. We become a unit of two individual people, which can function as a team. But God didn't make me a unique person and my husband a unique person just to get one of us to die so that one can live. Okay? Marriage is not a place where one of you die, because if one of you die, there's only one and then there's no relationship. So it's easier, just think like I think, much easier. But there's no life there. There's no growth.
I've got another follow-up there, right? Because aren't shared values important as well?
Yes, and we're going to talk about values, so thank you. Can I put that on hold?
Sure.
For now? Yes. There should be shared values. Okay. The more extreme exits, alcohol, dwelms, drugs, pornography, extramarital affairs. They are all exits. They are places we go where it's quick, easy, sometimes funny. What are these stuff? Painkillers. I can't go home. The pain between us, the relationship between us is so volatile that I'll go anywhere else just to feel alive. Even people that are not married, that uses alcohol or drugs or pornography, when they come into therapy, that's the first place we start. What are you avoiding? What are you running away from? You're not running to something.
Sure.
You're running away. Okay? All right. So, extramarital affair is you have a choice. You can go out of the marriage. Same thing. It's quick and easy. And actually, you're just again in romantic love. Ne? Wow, somebody loves me. Wow, somebody, every word I say is the truth. And again, we're at the hard work, and I see it in practice. The best test for an extramarital affair is if those people get married. Huh? 2 days, 2 years, same thing. Because what are you looking for in your partner? You're looking for wholeness. And what's happening here is you realize that that person who made me feel whole and alive is human. And you actually fall in love with your own lost part. So quickly look at your partner and see. Langs jou, across of you, next to you, sit your own lost parts. And while you were in love, it felt as if you were whole. It didn't hold. The romantic love didn't hold because we need to grow. There's order, a little bit of disorder, but there's order. We're in love and everything goes fine, and we marry, and then there's chaos. Why? So that we can transform and grow. So if we're not going to exit, the final exit is a divorce, if we're not going to do that, we're going to become aware. We're going to recommit and say, I don't know what's going on here. It's not nice, but I'm recommitting to this marriage. And when we recommit, we transform, we first become aware of what is the dynamics going on here. And how is all this stuff playing into our relationship. And we grow. And then we can say we're in a mature relationship. A mature relationship can fall in love again, often. But it's deeper. You know there's work to be done. You celebrate the silent times, the peaceful times. And it's not a fear-driven thing. I must celebrate it now because tomorrow we're going to have a conflict. It's not that. It is, we know now what happens. We know what can typically happen. We know what the work is to be done. We know how to look at our communication. We know that if Kunrat frustrates me, the first thing that I now do is just to do this. Take a bit of alone time. Think, this is my story. Let me hear what is his story. And we, every time, transform. And that is how God uses our relationships. And sometimes we never marry, but we've got relationships and we grow through those relationships. Your colleagues can help you grow. Your friends can help you grow. Your children will definitely help you grow. Parenting from the inside out. Dan Siegel. You parent from out of your own pain stories. Okay? Can I quickly tell a story and then I'll stop? Yes. Okay. Just. Once you're done, I just want to maximize. Yes. Just a quick example of what it means if I say I take a step back and first find out what is my story. Kunrat is often slow where time are concerned. Isn't that a very beautiful diplomatic way of saying he's often late? Okay? I get very irritated with that. 3 o'clock is 3 o'clock. Okay. Now just listen me out. I grew up, we were 3 girls, there were no cell phones, I am really old. My mother couldn't drive a car. My dad come and pick up the 3 girls. My older sister is 13, 14. He drops us off. He says to her, Daddy, he never used that word, but Father will get you here at 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock comes and goes. I'm unaware. Nee? If she was 13, I was 4. But I am aware. 3:15, 3:30, 3:45. No dad. No cell phone. What does she do? She's the oldest. She takes us by the hand and she walks us home. My dad comes where he dropped his 3 little daughters and they're not there. He comes home, but not like an angel, not glad to see the children. Very angry. I know now that he was afraid. Ne? So there, the first thing happens, time is dangerous. And that often happened. And then growing up, and I went to study social work, and we were, Miss Wessels, you're never late for a client. You're never late. You can be a half an hour early, but you're never late. Okay? Time, whoop, there it goes. Time is dangerous. Right, now I marry a husband. 3 o'clock is 10 to, 10 past, quarter past. I didn't know that until I did the work. Why am I so anxious about time? There's an old story that sits in my brain about time. And I go to him with that, and we talk about it, and he says, I'm so sorry, I never realized that. You know, I grew up in a pastorie. His dad was a pastor. His dad could never tell his mom when he'll be there for supper because he didn't know. He never knew how long the meetings were going to be. So 3 o'clock was 3 o'clock-ish in their house. There? And you see, just there, by being curious about my own story and being curious about my husband's story, conflict sorted. Never once did Conrad make us late for an appointment. Never. But what happened in my mind is, you're always late. Now, with cell phones, it's so easy. Listen, my wife, I'll put up my location, and I can exactly see where he is. When do I need to put on the stove? You feel that? But, and that we're going to do later on, our minds tell us stories.